In a world connected by highways, flights, and the internet, it's easy to forget that some places remain almost entirely out of reach. We're counting down the top 15 most impossible places to reach on Earth. Number 15. The descendants of mutiny pick part of the frozen continent, Mount Erebus, Antarctica. On Ross Island, in the icy expanse of Antarctica, Mount Erebus is one of the most fascinating and least accessible volcanoes on Earth. At 3,700 meters or over 12,000 feet, it is the southernmost active volcano in the world and home to one of only a handful of persistent lava lakes on the planet. The first recorded sighting of Mount Erebus was in 1841 by British explorer Sir James Clark Ross, who named it after one of his ships, HMS Erebus. Since then, this volcano has intrigued volcanologists and explorers. There are no roads here, no settlements nearby, no casual access points. The nearest research facility is McMurdo Station. It's roughly 35 kilometers away on the same island. The climate around Mount Erebus is punishing. Temperatures can plummet below negative 50 degrees Celsius, that's negative 58 Fahrenheit. And despite the challenges, scientists have established seasonal research outposts near the summit where they study its constant volcanic activity, unique gas emissions, and the extraordinary extremophiles. Those are microorganisms that live in its superheated environment. Yet it's not just the activity of the volcano that captivates researchers. Mount Erebus is riddled with ice towers. These are frozen fumaroles that form when volcanic gases seep up through cracks. These bizarre chimney-like structures can reach heights of over 10 meters and resemble something out of a science fiction movie. Some are hollow, and researchers have ventured inside to sample air and microbes, hoping to learn more about how life might survive. But despite its scientific importance, Erebus remains remarkably untouched by humans. The harsh conditions here have kept tourism to an absolute minimum, of course, preserving the site's natural integrity. Satellite technology has played a pivotal role in monitoring Mount Erebus. From orbit, thermal imaging captures the heat signature of its persistent lava lake, even during the long blue island born of fire, Surtsey, in Iceland. On November 14th, 1963, the surface of the Atlantic Ocean roared and cracked open, and a new island was born, Surtsey. Located 32 kilometers, that's 20 miles off the southern coast of Iceland, Surtsey emerged after a massive underwater volcanic eruption. Over the following 4 years, magma and ash piled up until the island reached its current height of 155 meters above sea level. Today, it stands as one of the youngest land masses on Earth and one of the most strictly protected natural laboratories in existence. This island has been a living experiment in biology, geology, and atmospheric science. Only authorized researchers are even allowed to set foot on it, and they follow rigorous protocols to avoid introducing any foreign species. Early colonizers of the island included bacteria, fungi, and mosses, followed by lichens and small plants blown in by the wind or carried by birds. By the 1980s, seabirds began nesting on the island, and that accelerated the ecosystem's development. Today, over 60 plant species and numerous insects, plus a variety of birds including puffins and gulls, call Surtsey home. The island's strict protection status is enforced by Iceland's government and UNESCO. Even visiting scientists have to pass through extensive vetting, and all equipment is sterilized to prevent any contamination. No plants, seeds, or even food scraps can be brought ashore. The goal is to keep the island's development as natural and untainted as possible. Surtsey shows how life develops in the absence of human influence. Its baseline, a scientific time capsule capturing the Earth's early ecological stages. From above, it appears as a small black speck off Iceland's southern coast. Occasionally, a plume of mist marks where waves crash against the shoreline. Surtsey looks like a newborn world, raw, pristine, still finding its place on the map of Earth. Number 1. The Fiery Islands. Far out in the southern Indian Ocean lies one of the world's most remote archipelagos, the Kerguelen Islands. It's also known as the Desolation Islands. This French overseas territory is over 3,300 kilometers, that's over 2,000 miles from the nearest land. With no native population, no airports, and no commercial travel routes, the only way to reach it is aboard the Marion Dufresne, a supply and research vessel that visits just 4 times a year. But the good news is its remoteness has made it a haven for wildlife. Seals, penguins, and seabirds dominate the coasts, while inland valleys are filled with mosses, lichens, and the hardy Kerguelen cabbage. cabbage, a plant that once helped early sailors ward off scurvy. Despite the isolation, the station has satellite communications, laboratories, living quarters, and even a small chapel. Researchers rotate in and out via the Marian Crane, which also brings in supplies and carries out oceanographic research in the surrounding waters. The climate here is harsh and erratic. Winds frequently exceed 100 kph, rainfall on more than 300 days a year, and temperatures hover just above freezing even in the summer. The surrounding ocean is among the roughest in the world, earning their place within the infamous Furious 50s latitudinal band. Still, for those who brave the voyage, the island offers unparalleled solitude and desolate beauty. The silence here is only broken by howling wind or crashing waves, and maybe the cries of seabirds. There's no cities, no roads, and no permanent residents, just a landscape shaped by ice, fire, and time. From above, snow-capped peaks and crater-like lakes dot the interior, while rocky coastlines fringe the edges like torn fabric. Kerguelen seems like Earth's forgotten corner, a place unspoiled and unconcerned with the presence or absence of humanity. Number 2, a brand any other. Within the continent of Antarctica lies a place so dry and desolate, it's often compared to the surface of Mars, the McMurdo Dry Valleys. Located in Victoria Land, these valleys stretch for about 3,800 square kilometers and receive almost no snowfall, earning their name as one of the driest places on Earth. Now, despite being surrounded by glaciers, these valleys are largely ice-free due to the strong katabatic winds that sweep down from the nearby mountains and evaporate the moisture before it can settle. The valleys themselves are surreal. You won't find snow-covered peaks or massive ice shelves here. Instead, there are ancient lake beds, salt flats, glacial till, and cracked rocky soil that's been untouched by rain for millions of years. Scattered throughout, though, are hypersaline lakes, some of which never freeze due to their salt content. One of the most famous, Lake Vanda, is a stunning layered water column that fascinates scientists. This area has also preserved ancient geological features. Rock formations here contain records of ancient climate patterns untouched by erosion or even vegetation. The clarity of the landscape allows geologists to study processes that would be hidden in other parts of the world. No one here lives in the dry valleys. Field researchers set up temporary camps, but there are no permanent structures beyond a few huts used for storage and emergency shelters. Every item brought in must be removed afterwards. That's a strict part of Antarctic environmental protocols. From above, the McMurdo Dry Valley stands out as a brown, rocky streak interrupting the sea of white. The borders are framed by bright white glaciers and ice-capped mountains, and it makes the brown terrain seem even more out of place. The valleys resemble another world, like a geological scar on the face of the Earth that's filled with secrets of our planet's past and possibly the universe's future. Number 3, the Desolation Archipelago, the Kerguelen Cairn Island. Pitcairn Island is one of the most remote inhabited places on the planet. It's located in the South Pacific Ocean, halfway between New Zealand and Peru. What makes it even more intriguing is its history. It was settled by the infamous mutineers from the HMS Bounty in 1790. Today, fewer than 50 residents, many of whom are direct descendants of those mutineers, call the island home. Now, getting to Pitcairn is a journey. There's no airstrip or major port. The only access is through a long sea voyage. Most visitors arrive by ship from Mangareva in French Polynesia, requiring a flight followed by a 30-hour boat trip. Even that arrival isn't easy. Ships must anchor offshore and passengers are transferred to the island in small longboats. They have to navigate the reef-strewn approach to Bounty Bay. Adamstown is the only settlement here. It sits atop a hill overlooking the sea, and it consists of a post office, school, church, and homes with hand-built stone paths that link them all. Electricity was only introduced in 2002, and internet access remains minimal. Life on Pitcairn is deeply communal. Everyone knows everyone. Births, deaths, and holidays are collective events. The island's small population means that every adult wears multiple hats. Someone might be the island nurse, mechanic, radio operator, and mayor all at once. While it offers a sense of simplicity and escape, it also comes with some challenges. Limited healthcare, education beyond secondary school, and economic opportunity. But from an aerial view, Pitcairn looks like a green thumbprint on the vast canvas of the Pacific, the lack of light pollution here and infrastructure make it almost invisible at night. Pitcairn appears tethered to the sea and history, seemingly untouched by the modern world. Number 14. The most isolated. Supplies here are flown in during a brief window of relative weather stability in the austral summer, that's November to February, mostly via the LC-130 Hercules aircraft equipped with skis. But because of this location and altitude, the station is ideal for astronomical observations. The air is thin and dry and light pollution is non-existent. Telescopes here study cosmic microwave background radiation. That's the faint echo of the Big Bang, as well as neutrinos and other cosmic phenomena. But maybe the most surreal aspect of life here at the South Pole is the sensation of being completely disconnected from the rest of humanity. There are no towns for thousands of kilometers. The nearest neighbors are other Antarctic stations, and communication is limited by satellite windows. Despite the risks, the experience is rewarding. Researchers speak of the camaraderie, the stark beauty of the polar environment, and the thrill of contributing to science in one of the most challenging settings imaginable. From above, the station appears like a geometric anomaly in an endless sea of white. Outbuildings, skiways, and fuel tanks form spiderwebs of lines radiating from the center. No trees, no roads, just an expanse of snow and sky. It resembles a tiny spaceship that crash-landed on an alien world, defiantly holding its ground at the bottom of the Earth. Number 5. Earth's most alien-looking island, Socotra, Yemen. Floating in the Arabian Sea off the coast of Yemen, Socotra Island is often called the most alien-looking place on Earth. Isolated for millions of years, Socotra has evolved its own ecosystem with nearly 40% of its plant life found nowhere else. The landscape is dominated by bulbous bottle trees and the umbrella-like dragon's blood tree, an ancient species that bleeds a red resin once used for dyes, medicine, and rituals. For much of its history, Socotra was reachable only by long sea voyages. In recent years, though, limited air travel has become available, mostly from the Yemeni mainland or nearby Gulf countries. Visitors are pretty rare, and those who do make it are usually adventurers, scientists, or photographers seeking Earth's version of an alien world. Despite the arid climate, freshwater springs feed scattered oases that support rich vegetation. Birdsong and insect calls fill the air in valleys hidden between the mountain ridges. Many islanders speak of the Socotran language, which has no written form, and it's one of the oldest living Semitic languages in the world. But life here moves at an ancient rhythm. Locals, mostly of Arabian and African descent, live in small villages and follow traditional ways of life, herding goats, fishing, and harvesting the island's flora. From above, it looks like a strange blotch of green and tan surrounded by turquoise water. Its shape, somewhat like a crooked wing, stands out in the Arabian Sea. Few roads exist here and human settlements are minimal, giving the impression that the island is more nature's realm than man's. Socotra resembles an alien biosphere that was dropped into Earth's oceans, vibrant and untouched. Number 4. A polar desert unlike a town in the Arctic, Itokukormiit in Greenland. Located in eastern Greenland, Itokukormiit is one of the most remote settlements on Earth. Despite the nearly unpronounceable name, this town is home to a small, resilient Inuit population that's lived in harmony with one of the planet's harshest environments for centuries. Now, what makes this place so difficult to reach is not just the geography, it's the climate. Temperatures here drop to negative 40 degrees Celsius in the winter, and the sea ice closes off nearly all marine access for most of the year. The nearest airport with any regular flight is nearly at Inat, which is over 40 kilometers away, and even then, travel between the two is dependent on unpredictable weather. There's no connecting roads, and dog sleds remain a practical method of transportation during the colder months. The beauty of the natural surroundings here are breathtaking. The Scoresby Sundfjord system, the longest in the world, lies just beyond the town. Mountains and cliffs create a dramatic landscape that draws the occasional adventurous photographer or researcher. But the real power of this place lies in its sense of solitude. It's one of the few places left on Earth where modern noise hasn't drowned out the whispers of nature. There's no bustling cities, no highways, no neon signs. Just snow, ice, water, rock, and sky, and the people who call it home. From above, it looks like a small dot located in the immense coastline of Greenland. This tiny cluster of colorful homes is barely noticeable against the white glaciers and icy fjords. It's a place that looks fragile yet determined. The town becomes a vivid reminder of just how extreme and beautiful remote living can be. Number 13. The Hidden Land with No Roads, Motul County, Tibet. Located in the southeastern corner of Tibet, Motul County is one of the last regions on Earth that remained roadless until the 21st century. This remote enclave has long been isolated from the rest of the world. For centuries, reaching it required a treacherous trek that included navigating hanging bridges, cliffs, and footpaths clinging to vertical rock. But the area holds so much immense spiritual and cultural significance in Tibetan Buddhism, Motul is considered a sacred site, referred to as Tamako or Hidden Lotus. It's believed to be a gateway to paradise. Indigenous communities here, primarily the Monpa people, live simple lives in harmony with their environment. Agriculture, yak herding, and small-scale trade form the backbone of their subsistence-based economy. Lush jungles filled with orchids and rhododendrons transition into snow-covered peaks. Tigers, snow leopards, red pandas, and golden langurs roam freely through this isolated hotspot. Researchers have compared this region to a natural time capsule, a glimpse into ecosystems that have been untouched by modern development. From an aerial view, it appears almost like a blank canvas amid the jagged peaks of the Tibetan Plateau. Cloud cover frequently obscures the area from view, which adds to the mystery, and the few villages that do exist here are nearly invisible from above, mere dots tucked in the vast forest. Motul seems like a forgotten land, clinging to its secrets just out of reach. Number 12. The coldest inhabited place on Earth, Oymyakon, Russia. If you think you've experienced cold, think again. Oymyakon, a rural settlement in Russia's Sakha Republic, is officially the coldest inhabited place on the planet. It's located in northeastern Siberia. It regularly experiences temperatures below -50 degrees Celsius or -58 degrees Fahrenheit. Record low here, a bone-shattering -67 degrees Celsius or -89.9 degrees Fahrenheit. That was recorded in 1933, and life hasn't gotten much warmer since. Oymyakon is home to fewer than 1,000 residents, many of whom are Yakut people who have lived in the region for generations. Life here is harsh. Residents burn coal and wood to heat their homes, as modern plumbing is virtually non-existent. Water lines would freeze in the permafrost anyway. Cars here are kept running even when parked, lest the engine freeze solid. Mobile phone signals are pretty spotty, and the deliveries of goods are infrequent and expensive. Tourism is slowly increasing as travelers come to experience this extreme. Visitors can try ice fishing, ride reindeer sleds, or pose by the village's monument, marking it as the Pole of Cold. Still, it's a destination that's more about the endurance than the luxury. From an aerial view, Oymyakon lies located in a valley blanketed in white for most of the year. The town's handful of buildings and smokestacks appear as tiny imperfections on this pristine landscape. It's just a community huddled together against nature's most brutal climate. It seems more like a scientific outpost on an alien planet than a permanent human settlement. But its frosted solitude is a sobering reminder of the extremes that humans rising from the surrounding jungle where Venezuela, Brazil, and Guyana meet. Mount Roraima is a tabletop mountain that looks like it was plucked straight from a fantasy novel. It's known as a tepui, or House of the Gods. This geological formation is part of the Guyana Shield, and it's believed to be over 2 billion years old. From Google Earth, it appears like a monolith with sheer cliffs and a flat summit, often shrouded in clouds, and it creates an ethereal, otherworldly appearance. Now, accessing Mount Roraima is a serious undertaking. While guided treks are possible through Venezuela, the journey is long, grueling, and only feasible during specific times of the year due to weather. Reaching the summit involves scaling vertical walls, something only experienced climbers should even attempt. The remoteness and difficulty of the ascent are part of what keeps this plateau so preserved. The summit spans 31 square kilometers, and it's dotted with strange rock formations, deep crevices, and endemic plant species found nowhere else. Rainwater collects in pools and channels across the flat surface, creating these natural mosaics visible in high-resolution satellite images. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's novel The Lost World was inspired by early accounts of Roraima, imagining it as a place where dinosaurs and ancient creatures still roam. Several plant and animal species exist here and nowhere else, including carnivorous plants and rare amphibians. But what truly makes it unforgettable is the contrast. From a bird's eye view, it stands in stark relief against an otherwise unbroken canopy. The cliffs drop hundreds of meters straight down, while the summit is a landscape unto itself. It's like a sky island that's been frozen in time. Mount Roraima is one of those places that doesn't really seem real until you see it with your own eyes or from space. It is a marvel of geology and time, wrapped in mystery and myth. The fact that it's nearly impossible to reach only adds to it. Google Earth gives us a rare chance to glimpse this majestic plateau, but the full story of Roraima remains locked away atop its unreachable summit. Number 10. The highest city on Earth.